Today, I still look at Mercury as the pinnacle of innovation, and we've done some crazy things, with Mercurial that we couldn't do anywhere. I feel like Mercurial still sits up there, and I don't see Mercurial changing name or, philosophy or DNA, anytime soon.
All right, guys, Cole here with SOCCER.COM with some of the most awesome Mercurials ever with the 20th anniversary happening this year. I'm having the pleasure of sitting down with one of the men that helped shape the silo, Rudy. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the young folks in our audience that might not know your influence here.
All right, so my name is Rudy Manival. I'm originally from Paris, France. I've been with Nike 21 years, always working on product, and of course Mercurial is one of my favorite babies.
And thankfully for me, because I like to geek out about this stuff, you've agreed to sit down and let me kind of talk to you about some of these. So take us back about 20 years ago. What was it that maybe Mercurial started to look like with the introduction of like the first R9? And kind of what was the landscape looking like back then?
Yeah, so 20 years ago, 98, World Cup. I'm a champ from Paris, France, so I was there. I didn't have to invite myself. I just crashed the party and got there. Interestingly enough, actually, it was at a time where Nike was, really a beginner or a newcomer in the world of football. And then we had this fantastic, our Mercurial boot, we worked on for Ronaldo. So I was like fortunate enough, to get in front of the team and witness Ronaldo actually unpacking the boot. So it was very special.
So when you rolled into kind of the Mercurial team, what were some of your original briefs from Nike? Like what were they tasking you with to create for a Mercurial boot?
I came into Nike in '96, and one of the things that I always felt like was fantastic with Mercurial is the notion of speed. I think going lightweight was clearly the objective. You couldn't achieve anything lighter than 250 grams in using traditional methods of make.
What were some of the players' reactions, if you heard any or got to interact with any, through some of the early Mercurials, even some of the later ones as well?
I mean, Ronaldo, the reaction, especially because the team was going back and forth, to him was pretty incredible. Again, there was a black boot. I remember the story actually of the very first prototype they put in front of him didn't have a swoosh on the side. He wanted to wear it, right out of the box. They literally had to cut the swoosh out of a Tiempo boot, which is what he was wearing at the time, so he could wear it actually in a game. So he started wearing it, much sooner than expected. It was at Inter Milan. That was late '97, I believe, and then that was leading up into the World Cup into '98. But it was kind of that thing where he instantly adopted the boot. He wanted to wear it, and again, he understood what that boot was going to do for him that the Tiempo boot was not doing for him. So it was literally not only our first foray, but the first foray for anyone creating a product specifically from a player's attribute. So it was a big step forward, not only for Nike, but for the entire industry. I think when Ronaldo, arrived, his ability to accelerate, his ability to cut, but also score goals, was unique, had never been seen before. And of course, Nike took that insight into creating the best product for him. There was no such thing as silos. Again, like I said, it was all black, white. Aesthetic was not a big deal back then, and more importantly, the performance of the product was not something that tied into player's position or player attribute. And we went from like having Tiempo to having Tiempo and Mercurial, and then to adding GX and 1290 and so on, and everybody kind of followed. So I believe that his influence, his uniqueness as a player really helped to shape the industry for the following 20 years.
Now, to me, as kind of like a big boot nerd, this one kind of helped to shape a little bit of like that super lightweight, like icon that the Mercurial really was. What was it like working on a project like this, trying to bring that carbon fiber to a complete fit for the foot?
The starting point for this project was like, we had the vapor in line and nothing else. And we went, obviously with the idea of the lightest boot and the fastest boot in the world. I think that had an influence, that was pretty unique and first of its sort. Back then, today I still look at Mercury as the pinnacle of innovation, and we've done some crazy things, with Mercurial that we couldn't do anywhere or we couldn't afford to do anywhere. So I feel like Mercurial still sits up there, and I don't see Mercurial changing name or philosophy or DNA, anytime soon.
thank you very much. I appreciate you walking us through this fantastic piece of history, and I have to say I really envy you getting to be a part of as much as you have been with the Nike football line.
That was a dream job. It still is. Thank you.
Rudy, again, thank you very much. That's all we have for you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.